Geordie journos in the bowels of the London Stadium. That was dross, wasn't it?
Shall we get the game out of the way first?
Yeah, we'll get the game out of the way first. That was absolute garbage as a match in the Premier. That was not Premier League standard. Two teams have absolutely no quality shown today, probably apart from the Harvey Barnes cross, as you keep telling us. Caressed cross and Bruno Guimaraes' finish. It was a strange celebration, but I quite liked it in the end.
Yeah.
And his post-match call to arms was quite invigorating. I felt it, and I think a lot of people will as well. And hopefully the rest of the players are coming along with him, and it's not just him chanting away to himself. I hope they do. But I think ultimately my summary on it, and I'll come to you guys in a second, is I think it was a really good result without any kind of performance, and there was an importance about winning, not only for a little bit of confidence, a little bit of remembering how to win, and which they haven't done a whole lot of, really.
Keep a clean sheet as well.
Yeah, remembering how to keep a clean sheet, because it's been quite regular. They've conceded a couple every game, haven't they? So there's that importance, but also really thinking beyond Sunday, which is a microcosm really. It's its own little bubble. Thinking beyond that, if they've got any ambition to put a dent in any European places this season, this little run of Premier League games, taking the Carabao Cup out of it, the run of Premier League games that they have over the next month is going to and that sounds so obvious, but they've got more favourable fixtures over the next few. The end is quite difficult, so they're going to have to get those points on the board. So I think if you're going to get in the mix, they had to come to a place like this, which wasn't easy. I don't think anybody expected. I don't think there was a huge expectancy that Newcastle would come and win today, such as the mood around the place. But they've done their business. They've done what they needed to do. Dom, I've described it quite like sort of, interesting terms, calling it garbage and things like that. But what were your thoughts on the game?
Right. Well, I just said off camera, I think it was a perfect win for Newcastle United in the fact that they've got 3 points, kept a clean sheet, no injuries, no red cards, suspensions, nothing stupid, everything that Brighton wasn't. It was perfect to anyone who didn't watch the game, because the game itself, like you say, was not... Garbage is maybe strong.
It was garbage.
It was a low-quality game. It was a boring, dull game. It felt like, we were saying before, it almost felt like a game that there wasn't any goals, but it just so happened that Bruno...
I had to nudge you a couple of times, you nodded off.
It wasn't a classic in that respect. It was a low quality game, but a perfect one for Newcastle United in a lot of ways, though they will have to play a lot better when they come up against Liverpool on Sunday.
Can you take much from that performance, Jordan? Was there any players that particularly stood out? There was a couple probably in my mind that I thought took their opportunity today.
Yeah, Bruno was the main one, I think, because he's been a guy that's been scrutinised over the last few weeks, few months even. People are questioning him about his captaincy. But I thought today, albeit it wasn't a great performance, it was more of the Bruno that we all love and know, and his interview after just hit a chord with me and you guys as well. Just in a bad performance, sort of the guy that stepped up, and they'll need that again on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, I thought Kieran Trippier was probably a bit of a standout at right back as well. His first 90 minutes
feels like a while.
And I thought he was solid down that right side. I think there was one misplaced pass at the start of the second half where he put Newcastle under pressure, but defensively done really well. Had a couple of decent corners into the box. So I think those two players, for me, and I think if you want to look at Harvey Barnes, I think for me still splits opinion with myself, maybe plenty of other supporters, maybe yourselves as well. But if you're looking at his contributions in the game, he had 2 first half chances and he put the cross in for Bruno's goal as well. So a player that was, again, heavily involved and probably has done enough to start the final now, albeit I would probably go with Jordan on the left hand side. That's a totally different conversation altogether. But it was a really challenging week, losing all those key players last week. They came out today. Look, it wasn't pretty, but they got a massive 3 points. I just hope based off Bruno's comments at the end where he's talking about them having a strong squad. I hope within the squad this win today gives them plenty of confidence carrying into Sunday, because they'll have to be absolute best if they want to end this 70-year trophy drought.
It felt like almost a media rallying call from Eddie Howe and Bruno. Like, Eddie Howe comes out and the first thing he says, massive win. It's probably our best win of the season. And that's, I guess, for fans and for the players and the squad themselves, probably what you want to hear heading into a final. We've just won our best game of the season, if you like, even though the performance...
I think it's all grandstanding. Like
well, yeah,
what you said, that's just effectively what it is, because if you look at that game by itself, I was sitting in here, I came in for the press conference after the live went disastrously, as anybody who tried to watch it out there. I don't know why it got cut, it just disappeared. So I came in here and listened, I heard Graham Potter over my shoulder talk about how his players put absolutely everything into that game. I wouldn't want to see them on a bad day then if they put absolutely everything into that game, because that was pre-season stuff. The way West Ham swanned about for 70% of that game, they probably had 20 minutes at the start of the second half. Apart from that, it was painful actually. Look, I think the managers have probably both backing their players and they're saying the right things, but they can't believe that was the kind of performance that they both said in the press conference. It's a good result, though. It's a big result for Newcastle. I'm not going to take away from that.
Eddie Howe said Newcastle deserved to win, and Potter said that West Ham didn't deserve to win.
Yeah.
But he also made a point that he maybe wasn't sure Newcastle's goal should have stood. And I know you were a bit... Me and Jordan felt it was fine, but you were a little bit... On the first replay, you were like...
So as soon as the goal went in, I turned saying straight away, I think there's a foul in there, because you guys were down, doing you?
Yeah.
And I said, I think there's a foul. My first watching of it, I'd seen the reaction from Kilman and the push from Isak and thought, that's getting ruled out. But then when I watched the replay after, I think it's soft. I think the defender's trying to buy the referee's favour, and I think he got what he deserved, to be honest. But I have seen them given. I've seen things called back. I mean, it only takes a touch. I mean, if that's on a goalkeeper, that's absolutely a free kick.
I think if the ref blows for a foul, it probably doesn't get overturned. It's one of them. The ref's decision stuff.
Good cross, good finish. I thought Bruno was my standout man today. And Newcastle are going to need the Bruno of old. They're going to need the Trippier of old. They're going to need the Nick Pope of old, which is a huge decision that Eddie Howe made today that we haven't yet addressed. They're going to need everybody. They're going to need a bustling physical Joe Linton. They're going to need Tino Livramento to suddenly produce performances of last season and not this, because he's been way off where he has been last season. And I thought that again today. It was end of attack every time the ball went to him on the left hand side. I actually thought the two lads who came on the left side, and I'll go over what you said about Barnes. I think it's a fair. We've had a lot of talk and trying to work out the Barnes performance. And you both described it as it's almost like a default position that he's probably earned it because he was so involved today. But I thought his involvements with the ball were really poor, apart from the cross. I think the amount of times he tried to beat his man and just had the ball robbed from him, had chances to have a shot and just seen them blocked. I mean, even before that cross, it was really poor. It was just a poor shot selection, poor final ball, until he produced a lovely cross, which you can't complain. But he's done that consistently. I'm just not sure you can pick a player on him producing like the odd moment like that in a game and nothing else. Well, I'd love it. It'd be fantastic. We'll all love it. But there's a lot of work goes in around that as well. You've got to work hard. You've got to be not gifting the opposition possession to flip the ball back over and send the other team on the attack. It happened too often for me today.
Joe Willock probably did it just as many times. He was only on for 10 minutes.
He did. I think there was a few players.
And just talking about that position, I think Harvey Barnes by default has just passed his audition, if you like, just because he's been involved. I think if it's not for two very good saves from the goalkeeper, he probably scores as well.
He does. You're right. There are moments, and actually, you know when you say that, you're right. Okay. I'll roll back what I said. Now you say that, when you think about that flick from the Trippier half shot thing was really clever. And maybe that's just what he is there for, because he can have those little moments.
He's a moment's player, Harvey Barnes.
He wasn't the worst player today. So me talking about Barnes, it's because that decision is up for grabs. Jacob Murphy was probably one of the most anonymous 90 minutes of football I've ever seen from a player. You didn't think that. I thought he was dreadful. I thought Sandro Tonali was a million miles off his levels. I thought he was gifted. He gifted possession. He had a couple of recovery runs and he did well. But what we know Sandro Tonali can be, and there might be people stick up from the comments, and that's fine. It's a game of opinions, no problem at all. I thought he was a million miles off where he normally is. Million miles away. The two centre halves look like, honestly, at times they look like they've never seen each other, never mind played with each other. Yeah. Hesitant, weak, beaten in the air consistently. They barely won a header between them today.
Eddie Howe sort of acknowledged that as well. He said the weak aerially at times, but said defensively, on the whole, he's got to be happy.
But my thing about the two centre halves is they're both, correct as I'm wrong, use are better with the facts than what I am. They're both 33. Is that right?
I think Danburn might be a little bit younger.
Is he?
Fabian Cher's 30.
Well, they're getting into towards, they're not young anymore. They've played virtually every single minute of every single game. I think there comes a point where that fatigue comes in. We've seen recently where Bruno's levels dropped, and it's fatigue. Yeah. It's fatigue. You can't keep playing all the time. It's been good that he looked refreshed today. Bruno, the centre halves, didn't. I thought the centre halves are a cause for concern, in my opinion, moving into that final next week. I think the whole defence is...
There's a bit of mental fatigue as well. Dan Burn bringing the ball out. It's just sloppy individual errors just kept happening tonight. Ultimately, they've come away with a clean sheet though, and I think generally Nick Pope had very little to do on his return.
What did you think of his performance, Jordan? Nick Pope? And the decision itself, do you agree with it? Do you not?
No, I've always stood by Martin Dubravka. I don't think he's done a lot wrong, but I just think it's a clear preference for me that Eddie Howe prefers Nick Pope, and I don't think that's a secret. I think Eddie Howe can say in press conferences that we don't have a number one goalkeeper, the position's up for grabs. In the hour of the first opportunity, when he thinks Nick Pope is ready, he puts him straight back in. Look, Eddie Howe might be playing a massive game of poker, and he might put Dubravka in against Liverpool, but I just think today, I think that was the nod for me to say that Nick Pope will be playing. And look, I don't necessarily agree with the decision, but I think Nick Pope on his day is a better goalkeeper. But we haven't seen that Nick Pope that we had from last season before he got injured and the season before. I think he's looked the player, certainly with the ball at his feet. He's never inspired confidence with the ball at his feet, but I think he looks extra nervy. It just seems to be like sort of fear when he's on the ball, and I think you can feel that. And I think he looked nervy tonight on the ball. But his distribution in terms of throwing out's better. So he's got to do that, but he just doesn't inspire confidence, whereas Dubravka does give you that with the ball at his feet. But again, Nick Pope's a better goalkeeper. So as much I would lean towards Dubravka, I do understand why Pope would start if he's on top form. I don't think he has been. I think
there's more holes in Pope's game than there is in Dubravka's. I think the distance, there was two goalkeepers when Pope came in, that Pope's shot stopping was so much better than anything Dubravka could produce, that you forgave the problems that he had with the ball at his feet. That level has dropped significantly. It could be injuries, it could be confidence, it could be the fact he hasn't played, he's come in and out, it could be anything, I don't know. But the gap now between his shot stopping and Dubravka's all-round more averagely better game, if that makes averagely better. You know what I mean? I'm kind of trying to put it in terms. Dubravka is, for me, is actually a better all-round goalkeeper because he can do everything. I'm not saying he's the answer to any questions, but he can do everything better. There isn't a glaringly obvious thing in Dubravka's game. It is glaringly obvious Nick Pope cannot play football. There isn't any of that in Dubravka's game. And I actually thought, my evaluation, I don't know if you agree, Dom, is I thought he commanded his box quite well at times today. He came for a few things, didn't he?
I think one thing I did like from Nick Pope was late on, ball over the top, it's coming out, he rushes off his line, headers it away, and that's just like...
If that happens on Sunday, my heart
well, that's the thing, it brings you back to that Liverpool. So to get that monkey off his back, if you like, to come off his line, and confident header clear, that's what I like. That's a strength of Nick Pope's. Yeah. That you probably go, Martin Dubravka, he does like to stick on his line a bit more. No, that's potentially a chance for West Ham.
So who's your goalkeeper if you've got
I've said on various videos, I'm always a Martin Dubravka man. At this moment in time anyway, since Nick Pope's injury, I think Newcastle just look a better team with him in it.
So does
and
that...
You saw tonight there's some back and forth with Tino Livramento and Nick Pope, and you just and it goes out of play, and it's just...
There needs to be a conversation.
Pull your hair out stuff, innit?
There needs to be a conversation there. Look, Tino, I know that's not you're not left-footed, so you are naturally, if you get the ball and pressure comes, you're going to turn back to the keeper. But then you're passing on to the left foot of Nick Pope. That can't happen. I'm sorry, son. You're going to have to just flip yourself around and turn it up the line, because there's no point in passing back to Nick Pope's left foot.
You may as well just boot it out.
You may as well boot it out and play
yourself.
Exactly. I think there was a bit of naivety at times from Tino Livramento. There was one where I know Pope took a lot of criticism. I seen it immediately flash up on social media. The one where he passed it Livramento flung it straight back in him, and it just pinged straight into the stand where we were. And Pope took a lot of criticism. I would more put that on there.
That's the thing.
You know what Pope is. You can't be pinging a ball back to him under pressure on his left foot. I know it's your wrong foot as well, but you can't do that.
That's what I would say about sort of like, where we're saying about the Dubravka starting, but I think there is probably a want on social media to jump on anything Nick Pope does if he puts a ball into the stands, because I think Martin Dubravka came in and was so calm with the ball at his feet, and you take him out, and then you've got Nick Pope. It's almost like it's stark how different they are with the ball at the feet. And I think every time Nick Pope pelts onto the stands, there is fans ready to jump on him. But as I say, I think if he's on top for me, he's always a better goalkeeper. But I just don't think he's quite at those levels. I
don't think he's making the saves. I think his save percentage will have gone up today because he got a couple of nice ones straight at him. There was a couple.
Nearly spilled it.
And
it was the first one, yeah.
I've got no... You know what, if you'd asked us 2 years ago and he played that final, I'm not saying they would have won, whatever. I'm not going to go down that route. What I'm going to say is if he plays, I was confident he makes saves. He potentially makes a save in a game 2 years ago where you go, every game he'll make a save that saves Newcastle points. Yeah. I have no confidence standing here today that Nick Pope does the same in a game where he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to make 3, 4, 5 potentially. Even if Liverpool have an off day, Newcastle United are going to walk away with that trophy. He's going to have to have a game like he had 2 years ago, and I've got no confidence that that'll happen. I would have more confidence Martin Dubravka could produce something like that in the way the two are playing at the moment.
Yeah.
But Dubravka's not perfect. He's not as good a shot stopper as Nick Pope was 2 years ago. He isn't.
100%.
But he's always all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. We're probably going to have to go, because it's getting...
Well, we need a word from our sponsors, first of all.
We do.
So we'll start with that.
Play the reel.
Comply IT Limited. Worrying about disposing of your old IT equipment? Don't be. Comply IT handle everything. Secure collection, detailed tracking, and certified data destruction. That's Comply IT Limited. We've also got Mitigate. Mitigate enhances workplace mental health, helping businesses stay compliant, reduce absences, and unlock higher productivity, creating healthier, happier teams. And of course, our OG sponsors, Four Rivers Financial Planning. Four Rivers Financial Planning offer holistic financial advice for all stages of life, ensuring your plan remains robust and adaptable in the ever-changing world we live in.
Right, that was our sponsors. If you need any of the details, it's all down there below. There is, of course, a Geordie Journal shop. You'll be able to find all the details down there. And, of course, you can look, it's a big week in Newcastle United's potential history. Full of potential. In the definite history, it's a potential big week.
Yes.
You can follow these guys on social media. What's your at on Twitter?
At Domsker. DOMSCUR.
Good lad. What's yours?
At Jordan Cronin _. Do I need to spell it out? I can't spell my own name.
A journalist who can't spell his own name.
He works for Newcastle World, though. Incredible place. Shields Gazette's open. At Liam J. Kennedy 23. We'll all be in and around the whole thing. If you can't make it, no matter where you are on the planet, we will try and give you as much insight, as much, whether win, lose, can't draw. We'll give you as much as we possibly can from this weekend. Of course, we'll be in and around the capital on Saturday. We'll try and capture a little bit of that. There's a media day as well, which you guys, what day is that?
Friday.
So you guys will both be at that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'll not be there.
You'll be missed.
Will I? Mm-hmm. I don't feel like that was genuine, Tom. Right. We'll have so much content. Shorts. The live didn't go to business, but there'll definitely be, I tell you what there will be, definitely will be a live from Wembley. That's going to be I know. I'm going to have to
That's a tough
schedule
live for you.
Either
Win
way.
or lose, that's a tough
yeah.
live for you. I'll come on if I'm not in Eddie Howe's presence.
The live might be a little bit after because there is going to be a Liverpool trophy ceremony.
Oh, come on.
Just joking, I'm joking.
Yeah.
So it might be a little bit later on because there will be a trophy ceremony to whoever wins the trophy. So it'll be very loud.
Are you going to watch it this time?
Well, if it's Newcastle, aye.
Oh, good.
You have to stop us getting on the pitch.
That'll be some live if Newcastle win.
If Newcastle win the trophy, never mind scheduling it. If you guys want it, I'll just go live.
And just
I'll just
scream.
go live straight after, and you can walk around with us and live it.
No, that's nice.
We can live the whole thing. I can stay live as long as you want as well.
Okay.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Just be me crying. Turn to you, Dom. You'll be in tears. Will you? Maybe.
Possibly, I don't know.
You don't know.
You
You
don't know
don't
how you feel
know
in these
how it
situations.
feels.
I've never felt a trophy
Unless
win
you
before.
unless you're basically 80 years old, you don't know how it feels.
And even then, it wouldn't have been that much of a...
Because it would have been,
Yeah.
it's our third FA Cup in 5 years or whatever. We've done it
My
again.
nana's 91. I was talking to her about it actually, and she said, "Oh, I went to the town and seen them all go around with a trophy and everything. So it was brilliant."
It's probably all mild-mannered back then.
I know. I think it would have been
Good win.
probably a bit more raucous, wouldn't it, this time if it ever happens again? Be wonderful if it did, but we will. Whatever happens, we'll always be coming back and giving you the content that you seem to like.
Yeah, it's nice. It'll be our first Geordie Journos final because we were all at Wembley last time,
Yeah.
but very much. Well, it predates Geordie Journos by a good few
did.
months. So
Was it that summer when we started Joy Journals?
yeah, I think so. Yeah. So
Oh, what a journey.
it was Champions League qualification, did it? Lit that spark.
Yeah, it did.
So yeah,
And that's where they need to get back again.
it is. And big step in the right direction tonight. 10 games to go back up to 6th in the table. Obviously they don't play this weekend, so it's picture becomes a little bit more skewed after the international break.
It's been a strange league in that sense. It seems when everybody wins, they all win. When it drop points, there's nobody able to get a real foothold.
It's been a bang average season on the whole. Liverpool
It's
have
just
been
Liverpool have been the most consistent.
Have been good, and 15 points clear. It's mad.
And I don't think we've seen Liverpool in third gear. I don't know if I think the unanswered question is, have they got a third gear? That might be found in 24 hours' time when they play PSG. I suspect that battering they got in Paris will be a long distant memory, and I think they'll do the business at home, European night at Anfield, and I don't think they'll have any problems.
Hopefully, few illnesses or injuries.
You can't wish ill. You cannot do that, Dom.
No?
You can't, no.
Oh, you can't get suspended. Hopefully, just cramp. 1 week.
It's a really bad cramp.
Yeah.
Who would be a more important loss for Liverpool? Were they to lose anybody? Ridiculous question.
I'll always say Mo Salah, having watched Tino Livramento tonight, and it's between Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, but I think historically Alexander Isak has caused Virgil van Dijk problems.
Yeah.
Mo Salah historically has almost always caused Newcastle problems in some way, shape or form. Lewis Hall kept Mo Salah as quiet as I've seen him against Newcastle. He still got an assist
with half a foot.
Ultimately. So I think if Mo Salah doesn't play, Newcastle's chances improve. Obviously, if Virgil van Dijk doesn't as well. But I think Mo Salah, on current form, given what he would do or could do against Newcastle, would be the bigger miss.
I think Van Dijk holds that back four together, and I think Newcastle can create chances. But I also see the goals win you games, and that threat from Salah is just, even if he's having a stinker, he's just there to.
Scrappy.
The home game in particular, I remember that he was awful in that home game.
Scored twice.
And then 20 minutes that second half, he was unplayable. Totally unplayable. Lewis Hall didn't know what day it was. And I know he did really well at Anfield against him, but it was a tough time. Where would you go? Who would you say?
Darwin Núñez.
Yeah.
Joking. Although
He misses industrious running up front, don't they?
well, he's not been a fantastic performer for Liverpool, but scored 2 goals against Newcastle.
Yeah.
St James's Park last season when Liverpool was out of 10 men. So
Was that last season?
Virgil van Dijk sent off by the Carabao Cup final referee.
Get in.
It's an omen.
No, but you know it doesn't really matter. Liverpool will get every decision. They always do and always will. So Newcastle United have to win and have to win well if they're going to do it. And we'll be there, following it every step of the way. And we've managed to grab another 10 minutes out of that, not wanting to at all, but we've had a little waffle. Right, it's been a pleasure. It's well after midnight here.
Well, the last year.
Yeah. At the
This
London
is the
Stadium.
press conference room
It is,
where
you
we were
can come
speaking
see
to
that.
Eddie Howe earlier
That's where Eddie
and
Howe
Graham
was,
Potter.
Yeah. Right.
Let's go.
Good night. You know where the sponsors are. You know who we are. And we'll see. The next time we see you, we'll have, rather than a Premier League context, it'll be very much all things go Carabao Cup. Good night.